Okay, so we have the examples on how to find the resultant force and how to break our forces also. Sekejap, ada bunyi. Sebab I dah buat. Okay. So lain-lain our triangle to break our force into X and Y, we are using Sokahtua to find our X and Y axis, and then we use tangent to find theta for our resultant force direction. Okay, this is breakup components of X and Y. And then this is the resultant force of X, resultant force of Y, and then we need to combine using our square triangle. Okay, so this is here is where we stop at. Okay, so I just want to continue our example, and then we can go for our tutorial. Okay. All right. So example, the link in figure 219A is subjected to two forces, F1 and F2. Determine the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. Okay. So even though I dah click mute all, ada lagi yang tak mute. I don't know why. Bukan the system, the WebEx actually. Okay, so this is the example. Determine the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. So what do you need to do is there are there are two types or two strategy that you can do. The one is the parallelogram, okay, and then the second one is using the scala by break your force into X and Y. There are two forces, F1 and F2. Then you need to break to X and Y for F1 and X and Y for F2. Okay, then you need to add the force for F1 in X direction and F2 in X direction. That will give you the resultant force of X. And then you need to add for Y direction. That will give you the resultant force of Y direction. And then you need to find the resultant force for X and Y direction, and also you need to find the direction, which is theta. Okay. So for this one, solution number one. So we have F1 is equals to 600 Newton and F2 equals to 400 Newton. First, we resolve each force into its X and Y components. So for F1, we can divide it into X. So in X direction is 600 cosine 30, 600 sine 30. Okay. Next, we have F2. F2 we have in X direction to the left. Okay, X direction to the left, what is the value? What is the magnitude of F2 in X direction? Okay, 400 times, okay, sine or cos? Give me answer, sine or cos? Tengok dekat chat pun boleh. Okay, hancuin sine. Sine ke cos? So masih ada. Okay, sine, cos. Okay, so actually this thing is you cannot silent. Okay, you need to understand for how to use a sine and cos to get the data. The answer is f2x is 400 because x is here. Okay, so we put it here. So this is the data theta, and then x actually is here. This is x. Okay, well, actually we separate it into x and y, but in triangle x is like this. Okay, so this one is 45, this one is 400. 400 is there. So your triangle is that one, but in x y coordinate, x y Cartesian coordinate, okay, this is your f2y and this is your f2x. Okay, so this is in the Cartesian coordinate, but you need to find it in triangle so that you can understand our triangle, and you can use your rules of Saussure. So this is your angle. Okay, this is your angle 45 degree, and you have 400 for f2. This is opposite to the angle. So for the angle 45 to that line of x is opposite. This side on the right is adjacent. So you have ka. For the opposite, you need to use sine, and for the adjacent, you need to use cosine. Okay. So remember that, because this is just a tricky question. It is not tricky. It's just to evaluate your understanding on separating or breaking our force. Okay, so in that kind of question, if you can see that our theta, okay, see at our theta, this is our theta and this is our force. Okay, so for F2, this is our force and this is our theta. The theta is just to put it that way, to evaluate that you understand or not about breaking the separating the force into X and Y. Okay, so yes, F2, padam dulu. Okay, so we have F2 400, and then we have F2X is equals to 400 sine 45, and F2Y is equals to 400 cosine 45. Okay, so you have separate look at the second figure. So you have the answer for X, and for F1, F1X, and you have F2X. So you need to sum up, you need to add your X direction, okay? Okay, so 600 cos 30 degree minus 400. What, why this is negative? Okay, because of we have different direction. Okay, we have different direction, and we assume that to the right direction is a positive. Okay, so same with the Y. Okay, so for Y we have 600 sine 30 degree plus 400 cosine 45 degree. So we assume that above up to the Y direction is positive. So this is positive, and then you can sum up your force, and you can get F X direction and F Y direction. So how about the resultant force? This is the F R Y. This is F R for X. Okay. So this value, sorry. Okay. So this value 528 and 238, this one. Okay. So you need to do a new one, or you can do like this. 236.8, 582.8. So this is your resultant force. How to calculate your resultant force? Okay, so you can use A squared is equals to B squared plus C squared. Okay, so this one is FR squared equals to F. So put F. Okay, FR square is equals to FRX square plus FRY square. Okay, so when you remove your square, there must be square root here. Okay, this is a simple calculation, and then you get your resultant force is 629. And what about your theta? Okay, what about your theta? Theta here is this one. You must calculate from the x positive. So this is x positive, and then you must calculate this theta. Okay, so if there are resultant force of, let's say this is x, and the resultant force is, let's say if the x is negative, y positive, and this is the resultant force, and this is actually your triangle, and you calculate this theta, but your answer need to be from x positive direction, and this should be your theta. Okay, so you need to, the answer should be 180 minus theta A. So you're gonna get your theta B here. Okay, if the answer is from X direction, okay, if not, you need to draw this one. Otherwise, your marks will be deducted because I don't know which theta from where. Okay, so that is for the scala notation, and then you can use your Cartesian vector notation, which is I and j. Okay, this is actually x and y. So for f1, you have, this is 600 cos 30 degree is for x in I, this is for y in j direction, same as this one. Okay, x and y direction. So you can use I and j for Cartesian, and then you can add up your I with I and j with j. So this is I 600 cosine 30 plus, oh sorry, minus 400 sine 45. And this is 600 sine 30 plus 400 cos 45. Okay, so I and j depends on um, the x and y direction. Okay. Complementary angle to solve the question. What do you mean by complementary angle? Tanya suara pun boleh, tak ada masalah. Yeah, for this one, sine 45 is equal to cosine 45. But let's say if this theta is 40 degree, okay, I just want to sit and I want you to remember and understand what is actually the rules to get your x and y direction. That's it. So if that is 45, it is okay. But if 40, then the basic you need to understand. You can use, if you know that sine 45, cosine 45, you can use. Okay. Okay. Any question? Kalau tak ada, I will go for the next example. Next example, we have F1 200 and F2 260 Newton. And for F1, we have 30 degree. For F2, we have triangle 5, 12, 13. This is our triangle. And we can use this triangle to get the data for X and Y direction. So, okay, before that, just to show it here. So for F1, we can calculate, we can break it into X and Y. So for F1X, F1X is equals to 200 times sine 30. Okay, sine 30. And for F1Y is equals to 200 cosine 30. Okay, then we can have our F2. So we can divide our F2. What is F2? So it depends on our triangle. So for F2, okay, in X direction, we have 12 and 13. For X, 12 over 13 times 260. So this is for F2 X direction. And then for F2 Y, we have 5. Ni, Y, okay? 5 over 13 times 260. Okay? So, that 13, 20, 100 Newton. 13, 20, 240 Newton. Okay? So, this one boleh calculate. So, that is how you break your force. Okay? Boleh faham? Ada apa soalan? Ada siapa yang masih tak faham macam mana nak pecahkan daya? Okay? Break up our force using sine and cos. Sine and cosine. Okay? So,
Excuse me, Encik.
yeah.
Saya tak faham yang cosine yang ni, yang ada triangular 5, 13, 12 yang ni, yang tu saya tak faham. Yang cosine ni. Boleh ulang tak, Encik?
Ini okay, boleh. Yang ini sebenarnya this one yang 5, 12, 13. This one is this is actually mathematics. You have studied before in mathematics, but it is just a proportion because okay, if you have you can have also, but this one, okay, 5, 12, 13. Okay, it is actually how do you get your h? This is h, hypotenuse. Okay, is equals to square root 5 square plus 12 square. Can, and then how do you find your theta? Okay, tangent theta is equals to 5 over 12. So you can get your theta is equals to tangent -1 5 over 12. Okay, so you can get your theta. It is actually a theta, but you can use the proportional rate of the triangle. That is the simplest and easy way because they have given you the triangle, so it's the same. So rather than you find the theta, that you can use the 5, 12, and 13 value. Okay, so from that one, so we have this kind, okay, 5, 13, and 12. So you just use for sine, okay, this is theta. Sine theta is equals to 5 over 13. Cosine theta is equals to 12 over 13. Okay, so in the question, okay, I just remove this one. You know that theta from the figure here, okay, from here, theta here is same as here. It's the same theta, okay, using the zigzag. Okay, so that one is the same theta. So I just put the theta up there. So this is our theta. And we have 13 here. Okay, this is our resultant force. So for x direction, okay, x direction, when theta, you need to use cos, isn't it? Okay, so for x direction, I padam yang ni, senang sikit nak tulis. So we have our 5, 12, 13, and we have our theta. So for f to x direction, we use 260 cosine theta. Okay, and for f to y direction, here we this one. Okay, f to y is 260 f2 sine theta. Okay, so this cos theta and sine theta, you can get this from here. So from that one, sine theta is 5 over 13. Cos theta is 12 over 13. Just remove that one, then you can get this one. And this one is for this one. Okay? So that is how it comes from the triangle. So if they give you the triangle, like in the question, so you can use the question, so you can use the triangle, the value. For this one is for y direction and this one is for x. So it depends. So kalau dekat atas ni, dia buat, salah. Is up here, they put it as 4, 3, 5. Okay, so you can use your sine theta. Let's say this is your theta. So sine theta is equals to 4 over 5. Cosine theta is equals to 3 over 5. So use this one to eliminate the cosine and sine. Okay, so ni kalau nanti orang confuse pula. But the thing is you can use. Okay, boleh faham Okay, so we have separate our x and y direction. So this is the answer should be. Okay, so we have break our f1. So this is fy and this is fx. Okay, so fx is to the left direction. This one, fy in y direction, positive up. And then we separate our f2 in x and y direction. So we have f2x 240 and f2y 100 Newton. Okay, so this is how we separate, and you can, this is the answer for Cartesian. And if you are using scala, okay, you can add up your x direction. So sum up of f x direction, we assume that to the right is positive. It is equals to this one, f2x in x 240 and x 100. Okay, so negative 100 Newton for f1x plus 240 f2x is equals to 140 to right direction. Okay, And for y direction, we assume that positive is positive. Fy is equals to, the first one is 200 cosine 33, F1y 170 Newton, F2 negative 100 Newton is equals to 73 Okay, then you can draw your x and y direction. This one is 73 and this one is 140. Okay, so this is your resultant force and this is your theta. So the resultant force is Fr is equals to 740 square plus 73 square. Okay, don't forget that you need a calculator. Okay, you need your scientific calculator. Sebab sometimes ada equation yang you need to solve kan. Okay, so FR direction, theta is equals to tangent negative 173 over 140. So dapat theta. Dia kira. Okay, ada apa-apa soalan? Okay. To continue, this is the example. Okay, so this one is using Cartesian XY components. Okay, so kita tengok jawapan. Okay, so the answer is using I and J. So this is the resultant of X and Y. Okay, so for scalar notation, we have F1, we have F2, and we have F3. So we're going to break it into 6 components, 3x and also 3y. Okay, so for the first one, I will use one. F1. F1 is 15 kilonewton, we have 40 degree. So for F1 x direction, F1 x direction, we have 15 kilonewton sine 40 degree. And for F1 y direction equals to 15 kilonewton cosine 40 degree. F2. F2, we divide F2 for x direction equals to 26 times x direction. What is x direction? This one. Okay, 12 over 13. And for Fy direction, F2y is equals to 260, tambah kosong. 26 times 5, okay, 5 over 13. Then you have your 36 kilonewton. Then you need to break it into F3x equals to 36 sine or cosine. Tak nampak. Okay. Saya buat panjang sikit. F3x equals to 36 cosine 30 degree. Okay, and then we have F3y. F3y is equals to 36 sine 30 degree. Okay, so this is how we break our force, and then you need to sum up your x direction. You assume that to the right is positive, so berapa jawapan dia, and then you assume up is positive fy direction. Okay, so fx using f1 15 sine 40 plus ni yang plus lah, atau if you want to use f1 f2 and use color. So we have f1x 15 sine 40 degree, and then we have our f2x in the other direction, negative 26 12 13, and then we have in positive direction of f3x plus 36 cosine 30. Okay, same for y. We have f1y is equals to 15 cos 40 plus 26 5 13 minus 36 sine 30. Okay, boleh dan boleh dapat jawapan. Nampak tak slide saya? Okay takut ada yang tak nampak sebelah kanan tu. Okay, so lepas dapat x dan y, you will get your x, fx and fy. So you can calculate your fr, and then you can get your theta. So that's how we're gonna solve our question, static. Okay, kalau ada soalan, just unmute dan boleh tanya. Alright, so this is dah ada example untuk Cartesian. Okay, so you should get the same answer for theta. Okay, and then this one, this is also same three forces. Soalan dia bagi. Okay. Okay, so sama juga F1, F2, F3 dan dia bagi jawapan dia. Okay, theta. So theta is theta ni you need to be very careful. Okay, for theta is 253. Okay, it should be in third quadrant. So this one is 180. So plus 73. Okay, so this is 73. Your theta of triangle when you calculate should be 73, and your answer should be from x positive direction, counterclockwise. So that is the theta. Okay, ni buat. Okay, ni pun boleh buat. Okay, ni dah buat. Saya ada bagi jawapan. I have give the answer in group. So ada masalah? You have any problem with this exercise? Number exercise 1 and also exercise 2. Okay. So when ni sama, we need to break our force. Okay, so we have our F1. F1 is also F1x. F1y is 0. So F2 we can break into x and y. So we have F2x and F2y using theta 45 degrees. And we have F3. F3 is this direction, okay? So F3. Then you have the triangle 345 with 650 Newton. So you need to get the resultant force. So for the force given 650, so the direction is that one. Okay, F3y, F3x. Okay, so this one determine the magnitude. Determine the magnitude of F1 and its direction theta so that the resultant force is directed vertically upward. Okay, vertically upward and has a magnitude of 800. So the resultant force yang dia nak adalah ni. Fr equals to 800 Newton. So bila Fr equals to 800 Newton, dia nak Fr ni adalah, this Fr is actually Fy. Okay, when Fy is 800 Newton, vertically upward, there are no Fx. Okay, so you have to get your answer for this one. 400 sine sine tengok. Cosine 30, and then you have our F1 again. So you have F1 sine theta ni plus, and you have your minus x direction 4, 5, 600 Newton. Okay, this one should be 0. And then you have your F1y, letak je F1y is 400 sine 30, and F1 cosine theta 600 is 3/5 600. Okay, and this one is equals to 800 Newton. So sigma Fy sama dengan 800 Newton. Okay, so from that you have your unknown F1 and theta. So you can get the answer when you have two equation. Okay, ada soalan? Sebab kita nak pergi soalan tutorial. Soalan tutorial dia Soalan tough sikit lah. Okay. Any question? Boleh kita pergi ke soalan tutorial? Ada yang dah buat dah soalan tutorial? No. Boleh ke soalan tu? Kat mana dia keluar pool tu? Boleh pun. K1 over 46. Okay, so banyak juga yang dah buat. Okay, answer the poll. Kadang keluar poll ni nak tengok ada depan laptop ke, depan monitor ke, tak ada. Tiba-tiba buat quiz ke kan? Quiz, next week kita buat quiz Entah macam mana nak answer the poll. Anyone have answered the question? Because entah, sebab dalam ni submit click see the details. Tu in progress, finish, ada yang dah jawab. I pun tak tahu. First time ni. Mungkin ada not started, in progress, finish. Mungkin boleh pilih kod. I tak pernah pakai, saja je guna tiba-tiba ni sebab tengok-tengok ada polling system, then try. Siapa yang dah jawab yang boleh? Your response was submitted. Because I got your answer not started 19 participants, finish 29, just that one. Oh, submitted tapi tak ada answer Okay lah, nanti kita try lagi lah. Just click submitted, maksud dia dah finish. So finish tu finish jawab poll, bukan finish jawab tutorial. Tak apa. Nanti kita try lain. Okay dah. Okay. Poll result. Tak apa. Ada saja je nak tengok. Ada tak orang. Okay, so I think we go to our tutorial. Okay, the ink. Tutorial soalan question number 1 and 2 ni dia ada tricky sikit lah. Soalan satu yang paling tricky. So soalan satu kita saya buat last lah. Soalan satu sebab panjang sikit. So kita buat yang senang-senang dulu. Kejap Number 2 okay. Number 2, number 3, number 4 simple. Number 5 pun okay. Just ada equation je. Okay, so question number 2. Okay guys, 11 o'clock, question number 2. Resolve the force F2 into components acting along the U and V axis. So we have U and V axis, UV, but it is not as X and Y. X and Y, X, Y is 90 degrees, but U and V is 70, 110. Okay, so resolve the force F2 into components. So the components is U and V lah. Okay, so we have 70 degree. We have this one is the theta is 180 minus 70 minus 45, and we get 65 degree. So this one is 65 degree. And we have our force of F2 is going to the negative U direction and positive V. Because normally we use U when we have the notation of U, X and Y. So that is the positive direction. So U and V, U is positive direction to the right, V is positive direction down. Okay, so next, how to answer this question? We need to divide it by V and U. So we have here is this one. Okay, that one is F2V. Okay, and this one is F2U. Okay, F2V, and our theta, we have our 65 degree, and then we have our, this is the same because this one is parallel, F2V is parallel with V, and this one should be 70. Okay, so you have 70, 65, and then you have, this one is 45. Also, this one is that. Okay, so 45. So we draw here, we have here 500, we have here 65. Okay, he jumped. Okay, so we have 45, we have 70, we have 65, we have 500. Okay, how to find our F2U and F2V? So we have our terbaik. So jawab dulu. Jawapan saya untuk F2V is 482 F2U. Betul lah tu. Betul-betul. So jawapan ni nanti kita betulkan lah. F2U. So kita guna rule apa? Rule sine. So kita ada 500 over sine 70 equals to F2U over sine 45 F2V over sine 65. So F2U is equals to 500 sine 45 divided by sine 70. F2V equals to 500 sine 65 divided by sine 70. Okay, so F2U is 376 Newton to the left. F2V is 482 Newton positive. Okay, so F2U F2V. So salah notation itu. Okay, boleh. Senangkan. Nanti kita buat yang number 1. Ada soalan daripada soalan nombor 2? Kalau ada, boleh tanya, boleh unmute dan tanya je. It's okay. Daripada tertinggal jauh, baik tanya. Mana yang tak faham, Okay. Please don't care what others said to you. Apalah, senang pun tak tahu ke? Memang tak tahu. So tanya, okay? Jangan jadi macam saya dulu. Tanya, tak tanya, diam aja dan tak tahu. Okay? So you need to ask if you are not understand. Okay. Number 3. If the resultant force of the two tugboats is 3 kilonewton, resultant force 3 kilonewton along the positive x-axis. Okay. So maksud dia total je, total overall is total FR is equals to 3 kilonewton along x-axis. Determine the required magnitude of force FB and its direction. Okay, ni soalan common lah. Bila lecture, when you lecture, slide, ajar F1, given F1 is 200, F2 is 400, F3 is 700, then divide X and Y, get resultant force, blah, blah, blah. But in question, given resultant force is 3 kilonewton, find F1. So, mula ajar A to Z. Question, given Z, find A. Okay. So, we have FA, 2 kilonewton, FB, unknown, theta is unknown. So, you need to break your force. Okay, so we have FA in y direction is FAY equals to 2 kilonewton sine or cos. sine 30. So FAY equals to 2 sine 30 and FAX is equals to FAX, okay, 2 cosine 30. Okay, and then FB, we have FB, see, we have FBY equals to, so FBY here, FB cosine or sine theta, FBX is equals to FB cosine theta. Okay, this one should be eliminated, and then you have, oh salah, ini cara boleh lah. Okay, so you have FAX sigma FX, ni should be 3 kilonewton. Okay, so you have 2 cosine 30 plus FB cosine theta equals to 3. And then Fy equals to 0. You have 2 sine 30 minus FB sine theta equals to 0. FB sine theta equals to 2 sine 30. Okay, so nanti FB equals to 2 sine 30 sine theta, nanti masukkan dan dapat boleh cari. Okay, so ni number 1, and Fx kita ada 2 equation dan 2 unknowns. Okay, ataupun kita ada, okay, so kita ada triangle to buat our triangle using this one, 2 kilonewton dan juga 3 kilonewton. Okay, so we have 2 kilonewton 30 degrees, so 2 kilonewton, and then we have this one. This is our resultant force, which is 3 kilonewton, 0 degree. Okay, so this is our resultant force. What we need to find is this one. This one is our FB. So FB dengan ni theta. Okay, so ni theta, FB 3 kilonewton, 30 degrees. So you boleh guna cosine law. Okay, cosine law is A square equals to B square plus C square minus 2BC cos A. Okay, so from this one is FB is equals to square root, sebab transfer je square root tu, 2 square plus 3 square minus 2 to 3 cosine 30. So we got 1.615 kilometer. Okay, then using sine law, we got sine theta is equals to 2 equals to sine 30 over 1.615. So we get our theta is equals to 38 point. Okay, so ini mudah sikit lah. Okay, soalan nombor 4. Ini soalan yang perlu break X and Y. So kita break X and Y. Kita ada F1, F2, F3. Okay, so kita ada semua diberikan. So you can answer all the force given. So we try F1x equals to X is this one. So 4 over 5 times 850, and then kita ada F1y equals to this one, 3 over 5 850. Okay, then we have F2 625. So this one F2 sama dengan 625. Sine or cos? Sine. Sine 30. Then we have our F2y equals to 625 cosine 30. Then finally we have our F3x equals to 750 sine 45. Then we have F3y equals to 750 cosine 45. Okay. There. There. Right. So kita kena buat fx dan juga fy. So fx kita ada f1 kita ada 4 over 5 850, and then others will be negative. So negative f2 is minus 625 sine 30, and then the final one is we have 750 sine 45. Okay, so you can get the answer. So for fy, so ini positive, y positive. Okay, for fy kita ada negative 35 850, and then f2 kita ada minus 625 cos 30, and then kita ada plus 750 cos 45. Okay, so ni boleh dapat jawapan 162.8 Newton, and then this one negative 520.9 Newton. So kalau negatif, so kita punya X negatif dan Y negatif macam ni lah. So kita ada 182.8, 520.9. So ini kita punya resultant force. Okay. Right. So kita dah cari F X berapa, Fy berapa. So kita akan cari F resultant force is equal to
V.
okay, 162.8 square plus 520.9 square equals to 546 meter. Okay, and then theta. Theta, this one lah. Okay, so ini resultant
Excuse me,
force.
sir.
Yeah,
Sir, for FY, sum up, I get 499.06.
499.06.
Ah,
Ada yang dapat sama? FY 499.06. Ya, okay.
oh, oh, sorry, sir. I forget to minus the 305,850.
Okay. So,
Okay.
okay, thank you. Yes, okay. I got this one 520.97. So it's 521 katanya. Okay, tak apa. Okay. So then we need to calculate. This one is 162.8, 520.9, and then this is the third quadrant. Okay. So when it is in third quadrant, you need to add another 180 degrees to your theta. But you can find your theta, tangent -1 is equals to 5209 over 162.8. Okay, then you can get your theta as 72.64 degree. Okay, so the total is 180 plus 72.64. 252.64. 25. Masuk lagi. Ini 253. FR is 546. Okay, so this is an answer. This is an answer. Okay, question. Okay, so for number 5, I just give you the stat. It is the magnitude. Alah, ni nanti kita sambung. I just need your attention on number 1. Okay, so number one ada tough sikit, but kita try. Okay, okay. Question number 1. Determine the magnitude of the resultant force Fr equals to F1 plus F2 and its direction, measured clockwise from positive U axis. So we have U. This is same as question number 2. Okay, question number 2 is using the same question to separate our U and V for F2. So we have done our F2 U and F2 V. Okay, so this one is magnitude resultant force. Okay, resultant force is using U and V. So they want you to use U and V, but for this first, we can write the given F1 is 300 Newton, F2 is 500 Newton. So this data is we have calculated before in question number 2, 65. And then we have also this one of what is the value of this one. Okay, so this one is tak nampak. This one and this one. Okay, so it's the same value with the 70. 70 minus 30 is 40. Okay, so itu yang we have. That is what we have from that one. Okay. I ajar you yang susah dulu lah. So we got our F2, F2U and F2V. Okay, we have got our F2U and F2V. Hilang pula. Okay. So F2U and F2V is 376 Newton. F2V is 482 Newton. Okay, so this is for F2. Okay, so we have F2 U is equals to 376 Newton. F2V is equals to 482 Newton. So we have done this, and this is your F2U, and this is your F2V. Okay, boleh Then we need to find our F1U and F1V. So what we have here is, this is our F1, okay? Then this is our triangle, okay? F1U, F1V, and this is 300 Newton. So what we have here is buang tu Okay, so we have, this one is 40, this one is 300, this one is F1U, this one is F2, F1V, 1V. Okay, so F1U, F1V, so using, we have another thing is we can find our angle inside the triangle. So this one and this one. Okay, so we have here is 70, and we have here 110. So here is 110. So the other one here is 150, 30. So we have it all. Then we can find our F1V and F1U using sine law. So sine, we have 300 over 110 equals, sine equals to F1U sine 40 equals to F1V divided by sine 40 sine 30. Okay, sikit lah. (300 over sine 110) equals to F1U is sine 40 equals to F1V sine 30. Okay, then you can find your F1U is equals to 300 sine 40 over sine 110. F1V F1V equals to 300 sine 30 over sine 110. Okay? Huh? Kejap, tengah aja. Dia quick time tu, dia keluar folder kan, cancel. Lepas tu new movie recording.
Okay.
Lepas tu dekat yang merah ni, ni, check iPad. Dekat ni, kat merah ni.
Tekan ke right ke apa?
Tu, tekan yang arrow.
Okay.
Sorry, iPad. Okay. So you can get your F1 U is equals to 205.2 or 205 and 159.6 meter. Okay. Then you have your F1U. Okay, ini huruf P. Merah, F1U is equals to 205.2 and then F1V is 159.6 and then you have F2U is equals to 376.2 and then another F2V is equals to 482.2. Okay, so then you can calculate Fu is equals to 205.2 minus 376.2 equals to 171 negative. So negative is to the left direction of U. Sigma Fv is equals to 159.6 plus 482.2 equals to 641.8. It is the V direction. Positive. Okay. Next, you can find your FR. Okay. So you have your This is 70, okay, 70 degree. So you have your FU is equals to 171, and then you have your V is 641.8. Then so this is your FR. This is a quite tricky. Okay, this is quite tricky because of actually the position of your XY, sorry, UV, okay, and your answer is 171, and this is 641, and this is the direction. Kan, bukan. Sorry. Dia tricky sebab dia punya arah ni. Sekejap. Wait. Ini salah lukis. Then this is the 641.8. Then this is your resultant force actually. 605. Okay, so ini sebenarnya the real figure of your resultant force. Okay, so this is 70 degree of a U and V. Okay, so from that, this is the trickiest one. You need to find your theta. So for this one, for the resultant force, Fr resultant force is equals to okay. So from this one, you have this is 70. Okay, so this is currently you tak tahu, you don't even know. Okay, so this is Fr. Okay, using cosine law, because you have just one and you doesn't know this one. Okay, so for cosine law, Allahu Rabbi, hilang pula. Using cosine law, Fr square is equals to 171 square plus 641.8 square minus 2 171 641.8 cosine 70. Okay, then you get your Fr is equals to 605 Newton. Negative, if you find this one, okay, which one negative? In your resultant force. Resultant force, it doesn't matter. Okay, later I tell you. This one, that is U positive, and this is V. 171 is this one. So to the left direction, 171. You will understand is you have one negative 171. It should be left direction, but the value is 171. Okay, 171 to the left direction. Okay, and for this one, if you put negative, it doesn't matter because it is square. You need to square. It will be positive. So it is just a square meter. Okay, so you can find your 605, but from that one, from your, actually this one, okay, and this is your resultant force. Okay, so this one is 605, 171, 70, and this is 641.8. Kat sini. Actually, dia untuk ni, this one, okay, untuk cosine law, it is about the triangle. Okay, so dalam cosine law, you just need to put the value. Okay, so the value of the triangle, because there are no negative value in triangle. So dalam ni tak perlu letak negative. Okay, so this one is from the cosine law. So it depends on the triangle. So the value of the triangle, not the fx direction in our static. Okay. Then from this one, tinggal lagi 5 minit. If you get this one, then you can find your 605 over sine 70 sine law. 605 over sine 70, 641.8 over sine. Okay, we called it as, this one is A, this one is B. Sine A equals to 171 over sine B. Okay. Okay, so sine B is equals to sine 171 over 171 sine 7605. Okay, cuba calculate. 171 sine 76. 15.4. So jump to 70. Okay, B is 15.4. Okay, then and then you can find A. But A is 180 minus 70 minus 15.4. But if you are doing to find sine A, okay? Let's say you never do this step. You did not do this step first, okay? Sine A is equals to 641.8 sine 70 over 605. You will get this one as 85.4. You will get this one. And then you need to check. Or you just use your B. Okay? You just use your B is equals to 180 minus 70 minus 85.4. Dua. Oh, dia dah hilang. Okay, tak apalah, dia okay, so yang saya cakap tadi 605 over sin 70 equals to 641 over 8 sin A 171 sin B. Okay, kalau you tak buat sin B, you terus buat sin A dah A, you akan dapat 85.4. Okay, so this one very tricky. Kalau you tak buat B, you terus buat B equals to 880 tolak 70 tolak 84, 85.4, you dapat B. So this is wrong. Because of what? Because of your theta here actually, your theta here is more than 90 degrees. Okay, and your A is actually 94.6. Okay, if you remember your sine wave, if you remember, this is 90 degree, 180. Okay, your sine wave. If you do your sine A is equals to 641.8 sine 70 over sine over 605. So you will get 0.9968. Okay, this is actually, if you use your calculator, it will show the below than 90 degrees because of you have 0.6 here and here. Okay, so this one is 85.4 and this one is 94.6. So from your calculator, you will use this one. But you need to understand your figure. It is more than 90 degrees. So you need to use this one, 94.6. Then you can find your A is equals to 94.6. B is equals to B 15 tadi. Ingat. So okay. So there are one easiest way to find your resultant force, but I will tell you tomorrow. And then another question number 5, we will do tomorrow. Okay, so that's all. Siapa belum isi attendance, tolong isi attendance. Kejap. So I just paste the attendance form. So I hope that you have filled that form. There are only 38 participants that fill in the attendance form. So whoever didn't fill in, so you need to fill in the form. And then that's all from me. And I'll see you tomorrow at 10. If you have any question or if you want any further discussion on the chapter 1, just let me know. Otherwise, we will go to chapter 3 tomorrow. after we have done our tutorial number 5. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much. A class dismissed. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye. You're welcome. Bye-bye.